thinking I'm about to quit. If I've been making this much when I'm doing it like part-time, I'm gonna be making bank, 20K me a month, 30K me, 50K me a month. Hey y'all, it's Kameron with a K, come to you guys with a new video. So as you can tell by the title, this is part 3 of a 4-part series I'm doing about becoming a lawyer influencer, as I like to call it. So in today's video, we're gonna be focusing on my experience practicing law. I practice employment litigation, as well as my journey to growing my following where it is now, navigating social media while still practicing law, and quitting a law firm, not law completely, we're gonna get into that too, but quitting my previous place of employment and then just learning how to navigate this crazy, exciting, nerve-wracking experience called entrepreneurship. So if that sounds interesting to you, definitely make sure you guys thumbs up this video and continue watching. Okay, so if you're up to date and you've seen part 1 and part 2, then you probably know kind of what this talk is going to be about. You already know my high school experience, undergrad, law school, and now we are here practicing law. We have successfully graduated law school and passed the bar exam. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Chick. Can I get an amen in the comments? Okay, amen. Okay. The bar exam was, see part 2, and then see part 1. See them in order, part 1 and 2. Okay, so let me stop. Focus. This is serious. Y'all know I like to kiki. Okay, so I actually have several videos of me showing a little glimpse into what it was like to practice law in more traditional sense. And by traditional, I mean like in a law firm where you have to be in office. And there's all the politics and nuances and just like office culture that comes with working in a more traditional law firm experience. I had a great experience overall. I learned a ton of information. I learned a ton about just navigating the space by practicing. That's something that law school doesn't teach you. So law school teaches you how to research, how to find the answers and all of that, but it doesn't teach you how to like put that in practice. So I had to learn that when I was practicing. And of course, when I was clerking for the firm that I previously worked at, I worked there total, including law clerk and being an attorney, for 2.5 years. So I got a ton of information, a ton of experience, a ton of knowledge, and shout out to them, that was really, really helpful for me. Now, looking back, it was super helpful. There are a lot of things that were beneficial. But of course, I ended up quitting because God wanted better. He wanted more for your girl. So let's talk a little bit about why I quit. I'm not gonna go into too much detail just because it's still kind of soon. Catch me in like 5-10 years. I basically spilled the TT, but yeah, I started to realize I was not being healthy. I'm gonna be honest. I was not sleeping much, literally. I was short-tempered, I was impatient, I was tired, I was overworked and overwhelmed and underpaid, child. Somebody, can I get an amen? I was working 100%, giving 100% to my previous job, giving 100% to social media, because at that point, I mean, I've been on social media since 2014. I started law school in 2016. I graduated, took the bar, passed, and started practicing in 2019. 2014 to 2019, that's 5 years that I had been dedicated to something that I love. I'm passionate about it. I love everything about social media. Taking the photos, taking the videos, creating the content, coming up with the creative concepts, all of the things that involve social media, interacting with y'all, kikiing in the comments and the DMs. If you're in the DMs, you already know what it is. But I couldn't figure out how to balance it. So what I started to do was hire different contractors to work for me. And some of you that have been around here for a while, you know, I had a manager at one point, I had a creative marketing assistant, I've had interns, and even with the help, it still was overwhelming because at the end of the day, I have to shoot the content. I'm Kameron Monet, and things like that, which is great, and I love to do it, but I couldn't really do it in a way that I wanted to because I didn't have time. And it's not to say that there was a problem with that. I had to give 100% to my job. I invested in my degree and I thought, okay, this is what I did. I did this. Like, I got my job offer 6 months before graduation, before I even took the bar. Like, I was like, this is the dream. I work downtown. I have an office. It was a gorgeous office. I could see downtown out the window. It was all around. It was a perfect location. It was just like, that was it, right? I remember sitting in my office and I was like, this is it, right? Why do I still not feel fulfilled? Like, why do I still feel like this isn't enough and this isn't it? So I've been making money online since, what was it in the part 1? Was that part 1? Yes, if you've seen it, then you know the statistics. You saw the T, I put it on the screen. I wanna say 2015, 2016-ish. So by that point, I was already making somewhat of a consistent income, even if it wasn't that much, but I never really sat down and thought about it and was like, okay, I'm making this much, this is what's coming in, this should go here. Like, honestly, it was just like, great, I'm in law school, I got $12 in a dream, now I got a little bit more money because I'm making money on social media. So I started to really monitor what money was coming in. I started to save just because, one, yes, the pandemic, it was like, girl, you don't, people is getting fired. You want to make sure you're straight. And I never was threatened to be fired. I've never had problems at work. It was nothing like that. It was solely, literally, I'm gonna tell y'all the story exactly when I quit, but it was just a push out the door from God and myself, and I just knew it was time to leave, and that I was currently like on a wave. So like on Instagram and on social media in general, also ignore my nails, y'all, I'm getting them done tomorrow, so don't be in my business. But like I felt like I was going up on a wave on social media. So I was getting a lot of following, I was getting likes, I was getting brand deals, like I was getting a lot of money. And it got to a point where I started to, like I said, monitor my income, and I was like, wait a minute, not my little social media business, not little. That's a whole nother story for a whole other day. But anyway, not my social media business making the same amount that I'm making. Oh, over here, something, make it make sense. Make it make sense. So it was like, wow, wait, not the same, not the check I get from this brand is the same amount as the check I'm getting from work. I need to think. So it kind of started there. And this, I would say, was around like June, July-ish maybe. That I really started to say, ooh, okay, let me see. So August, there was a little situation at work. I will not discuss it. If you know, you know. And that really had me thinking, like, I'm gonna have to think of an exit plan probably sooner than I want, and or what could I do to either hire more people so that I don't know. I really, if you knew the story, it'd make more sense. But long story short, I had to just figure something out. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to either decrease what I'm doing online, what I've been building over the past 5+ years, or I'm gonna have to leave and figure something else out, go to a different firm that understands what I'm doing, that's not going to make a mockery of what I'm doing, that's not going to be unsupportive of what I'm doing. So I had to just figure that out. And I'm gonna say this, it's not that everyone there was unsupportive and all of these things, but it started to become an issue. My thing is, when I'm at work, whatever I'm doing on the weekends really ain't got nothing to do with work. Even outside of work hours, and I get it on, you're technically like on call as an attorney, so I understand that. But however, when I started working there, even as a law clerk, I was like, this is what I do online. I kind of feel like I just wasn't heard at that point. I think now it's a little bit more understandable as people are talking about influencer marketing and content creating and influencers, that it isn't like a, oh, whatever, that little thing, that little business, that little law. It's like, no, this is a full-blown business. People are making hundreds of thousands of millions of dollars. Like, don't get it twisted. The influencer marketing industry is over a $9 billion industry. So don't come at me about a little blog, little business, little nothing. And I'm not saying I'm making that much. Clearly, I ain't. But the potential is there. That's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, little situation happened. Made me kind of think, like, am I gonna really be able to do both if it's gonna be a problem with this particular firm? And again, I also told them when I was a clerk and when I accepted the job offer, like, hey, this is what I do. My stuff is public, it's not a secret. So yeah, I kept thinking about it, kept praying about it, and it's almost as if circumstance after circumstance after situation after issue kept coming up, not because of my work product, but just like what I was doing in social media. It was like, ask me about this, oh, you make money, and it's like, I've been said, y'all, like, to the, you know, and it was just really frustrating, honestly. It was really frustrating. It was like, I'm trying to learn as an attorney, I'm trying to work here. I like the firm, I really, really, really love the work, employment litigation, I loved it, I thought I was thriving, but it was like, I feel like God was like, Cameron, if you don't get gone, hello. I remember sitting in my office and it was September. My birthday's September 7th too, so it was like right after my birthday. And I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, I mean, I was so tired. I still had 2 people working for me, and I still was overwhelmed. And I wasn't doing nearly as much as I'm doing now. That's a whole nother, we're gonna talk about everything I'm currently doing in part 4. But I was like, I'm gonna have to quit. So I put September 18th on my resignation letter. I had already drafted the resignation letter in like August. That's not, anyway. But I didn't put a date on it. So I put September 18th, got to work Friday, and it was something that happened, I don't even remember now. It was like one of the smaller issues that had kept coming up. And I was like, today's the day. Today has to be the day. So I changed that date on the resignation letter, went to one of my colleagues' offices that I trust. We all had a powwow and they hyped me up, and I needed that. Thank you guys so much. You two know who you are. Thank you so much. I needed that because I knew it felt right? It wasn't that I didn't think it was time for me to leave. It was the fear of the unknown. It was the testing of my faith. I was struggling. I mean, your girl was shaking going to his office, my boss's office. I went in there, gave him the letter. He's like, nah, I ain't accept today. Are you crazy? Think about it over the weekend and we'll talk Monday. My mind was already made up because as soon as I like gave him the letter, when I tell you like, I feel like I had just left a massage. I mean, I felt like a huge weight was lifted off of me. So I knew in that moment that was it. And your girl was about to be unemployed. No, self-employed. And I had an idea at that time what I was gonna do. So it wasn't like I'm just quitting without a plan. I had already monitored my income. I had like 3 to 5 months of savings saved up. It depends. I say 3 to 5 because my living situation ended up changing. So it ended up being like 3 instead of 5. And then like I had to hire somebody, increase their payment, fire somebody. It was a lot going on in between there. But I had quite a bit saved where I felt comfortable. And again, I already had money coming in. So it wasn't like, I don't know how I'm gonna make money. It was like, I need to maintain what I'm doing and figure out how to scale it and increase it and then find other streams of income. So that's the benefit of being on social media, y'all. Get those affiliate links. YouTube, use the Google AdSense views. You get paid off the views. Brand partnerships. Just content creating, meaning I may create content for a brand and y'all don't see it, but it's on their page or their marketing, things like that. There's so many different ways you can do consulting, which is, I'm not gonna say, but y'all know I do some contract consulting. But y'all know more about that again in part 4. But yeah, I was like, okay, I was excited. I was empowered. I was like, hey, we here, we did it, we quit, we self-employed. Entrepreneur me, please, CEO me, period. Okay, that's what I thought. And then like the first week, so they let me leave in a unique way. I don't want to say it because I'm not sure if they do that with everyone, but I gave them like a 4-week notice just in case. I had to like wrap some things. So I ended up doing 2 weeks, but I didn't have to work both weeks. But anyway, so the last day, like technically the last day was September 25th, I believe. So during that like interim period, I didn't really feel like I quit yet. And also we had already been at home because pandemic. So I would say like October-ish, like when the next 2 weeks came and I didn't get a check, it was like, oh, not that I needed the money, right? Everything was paid. I had savings. It was good, but it was like just going from a salary and then you're like, oh, no, ain't no check, sis, ain't no check. So that was something I immediately started, I wouldn't say freaking out about, but it made me a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, man, like you really quit your whole job? Are you stupid? People are praying to get the experience and get to that level. Like law students are looking at you like that's the goal. And I'm looking at them like, I quit. It was a scary time, but also an exciting time. It challenged me and I tried so many different services and thank God I had a business coach at the time. She now does a whole different thing what she was doing then, but like so many people during that time, like kind of like I mentioned in part 1, like there were so many, or part 2, one of the parts, child, so many people that still continue to pour in me even if they're not even doing that anymore. So Tatiana, she was doing like just kind of more general business coaching at that time. So she was just like helping me think of my services and navigating just entrepreneurship in general. And I went to undergrad with her, so it was just cool to talk to somebody. And then now like she's really niched down and specific what she does, but she was a pivotal person in my life at the time because I was like holding on to like motivation from her. Like I seeing somebody that I actually knew. We're not really close, but like I knew her from undergrad. Like I know this girl, and seeing her like navigate this space like confidently and in her zone of genius and all that was so inspiring. Then I started getting really close with my Birmingham creator friends, and I mean like we are here now. Like those are my people. Like I really appreciated them. Like small conversations they probably don't even know. Like just little words of encouragement, our group message, just laughing and like thinking, brainstorming creative ideas and letting me just kind of brain dump and like brainstorm ideas. It's just been so important, especially those first few months where I felt a little bit lost and like not necessarily alone, but just it didn't, let's just say it like this. My idea of what was gonna happen didn't happen. I'm thinking I'm about to quit. If I've been making this much when I'm doing it like part-time, I'm gonna be making bank, 20K me a month, 30K me, 50K me a month, 50K a month. Your first year entrepreneurship, man. Yes, it's possible, but I was trying too many different services. I didn't have like one thing that people would come to me about, and I didn't understand how badly I needed to do that. I wanted to just test the waters for a year, which I did, and we're not doing that again. It's not that it was bad. I think I learned a lot. I learned about things that I love to do, things that I don't like to do, things that work, things that don't. So I don't take anything back at all. I don't regret anything, but I definitely am going into my second year of entrepreneurship a little bit more niche down, not being afraid to take other people's opinions with a grain of salt and not change what I'm already doing, even if they seem to be doing better, because everything that works for something that works for someone else just may not work for me. And that's not saying that what's working for them is a problem or it doesn't work, if that makes sense. I took a lot of advice from people and then started implementing them all at the same time. I probably won't do that again here too. I read a quote, it said something like, I wish I had it. It was something like, don't ask advice from someone who isn't in the position you want to be, or something like that. And I was like, that's deep. Like, why am I asking advice to somebody that ain't doing what I'm gonna do? But for real, come on now. So I will say, number one thing that I've learned about entrepreneurship is pouring into me also pours into my business. I haven't felt like I had to really I wouldn't say overdo it. I feel like since I've become an entrepreneur and CEO, everything, all of those kind of things, I've had to really prioritize my mental health and physical health and well-being to better my business. And the more I can pour into myself and the better I am as a person, inside, outside, etc., the better I am in my business and the better my business is. So that's just one little message. I don't know where that came from, but somebody must need it. Okay, let me know if that was helpful down in the comment section below. But I do want to talk about being a Black female lawyer just in general, not even in the social media space. That's a whole different ballgame. We'll talk. I might touch on that in part 4 because we'll be talking more about kind of what I'm doing now. But only 5% of lawyers are Black. Let's start there. And I know I mentioned that in part 2, but I was the only Black female associate attorney at the firm I worked at. There wasn't anyone I felt like I could go to in the firm that had a Black female perspective, and that can be tough. But I want whoever is a Black female lawyer or aspiring lawyer to know that you don't need their opinion, you don't need their approval, and you don't need their validation. They clearly hired you for a reason. There is no reason for you to feel any inability to do the job just because you don't see someone like you doing it at that place, wherever you're working. I don't know, it was frustrating. For instance, small things like hair, right? Us as Black females, is so annoying to have to think, dang, I need to change my hair in this particular circumstance. And yes, not everyone needs to, but my thought was, okay, now I do what I want. I mean, y'all know I am weak. I will change my hair in a second. I'll take these clippers out right now. Who won't, will do. And I wore wigs and changed my hair and braids and everything. But one fear I did have internally was I would hate for a client to not work for the firm just because of me. So that was an internal thing I had to work through. But there's just so many different dimensions and depths and dynamics to that. But they need us, period. We need Black lawyers and we need Black female lawyers. We have a different perspective than anyone else. They need our experience. We need a seat at the table and we need to have a voice at the table as well. We need to be heard. So don't ever be afraid to be the only one in the room or not take a job offer because you'll be the only one in the room. You never know. You may show them, hey, dang, we need a few more of them, or if they don't appreciate it ain't nothing to quit that job though. I will quit in a minute. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, I hope that was helpful. Let me check my little notes. Y'all know, let me see if I covered everything. Oh, the last thing I have on here to talk about is good old imposter syndrome hating ass. Child, let me tell you, I have never felt a level of imposter syndrome like I feel as a influencer, a lawyer influencer, content creator, ever. There's nothing compared. Even being a law student, I mentioned how, it's just scary, being in a room. I wouldn't say scary, it's intimidating to be in a room full of people that have parents that are in the industry and are well connected, etc. And you come up there and I'm like, hey, I'm from Flint, what's good? What's poppin', what's good? Who are you? What's your name? So that was intimidating. Now it's more frustrating and I wouldn't even say intimidating, it's more annoying because older, more established, experienced attorneys, which this is not throwing shade to them, we need y'all. I ask for help all the time. They don't understand the dynamics of digital marketing. They don't understand the importance of having a social media business card, as I like to put it to them. And just in general to anyone, it's frustrating and it's annoying. Don't belittle an attorney because they're not taking the traditional route. Don't think because an attorney isn't working at a particular law firm or in a particular area of law, that they're not making money and they're not being successful and they're not helping to pave the way for other people. Also, just because I'm not doing criminal law, come on to my black community, I love y'all to death, doesn't mean I'm not helping the black community in another way. So if you're a black law student and you're like, I just feel like I have to do that to help the community, but I don't really want to do it, you don't have to do it. There's so many different areas of law, there's hundreds of thousands of laws that you can still help your community. It doesn't have to be a direct correlation to something such as the criminal justice system. That was a rant and a tangent, but I hope that was helpful. I know I just kind of briefly mentioned the frustration of having to explain to people about being a lawyer influencer. So really, really quickly, I think the best way to do it, I always just start with, I'm in digital marketing. And then just take the time to explain it. I think that's a lot of the struggle with so many things where there's a barrier in understanding something. Just take a step back, understand that they just don't know. And I have no problem sitting there and like explaining it, like, hey, this is what it is, this is how people make money. I'll point them to my Creators Law Library YouTube channel and any other information I can find to try to just help bridge that gap, because that is what's going to help. We need lawyers in the social media influencer marketing space. We need lawyers, but we also need lawyers that are knowledgeable about the industry. Not just lawyers that have been doing entertainment or media or contract law or IP for years, but they have no understanding of Instagram reels, Instagram story frames, the difference between deliverables and other things. Like they don't know the terminology in the industry, which makes it difficult for clients that they try to help, whether it's on the brand side or the creator side. But yeah, so I'm definitely trying to help bridge that gap, and we're gonna talk more about that in part 4. If you don't already, definitely make sure you guys follow me on Instagram at Kameron Monet, subscribe to my YouTube channel here at Kameron Monet, and also make sure you guys are subscribed to my other YouTube channel called Creators Law Library. And the next video has quite a few things that are important in it. A launch, maybe a little contract home. So make sure you guys are subscribed so you don't miss a video. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope this was helpful. Definitely leave me some feedback and some comments down in the comment section. I love to kiki down there. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next one. Love you guys. Later. Okay. Are we ready to rumble? Lights, camera, action. I said lights, camera, and action. Really? Hey, y'all.